Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Trong, and I will be the host for this webinar. And let me kind of go through a couple of housekeeping items first. So we are using the web conferencing tool called Zoom today. And to minimize audio interference, we ask that you just set your audio to mute, which is located on the bottom left corner of your screen. And if you want to ask questions, make comments, or communicate with us during the presentation, you can use the chat function, which is located at the bottom of the screen. If you just hover your mouse over it, you'll see a little chat, little button where you can press. I will be monitoring the chat area throughout today's webinar. So if there are questions, I will collect those, and then when we have a moment at the end or a moment for the questions, I can then read those back to our presenter. The chat box allows you to basically communicate with everyone, but if you want to communicate any technical problems you're experiencing, you can just send a private message to me just by hovering over the to field and looking for my name, and then you can then just send me a message, and then I'll try to work with you in resolving your technical issues. Today's webinar is being recorded at the moment, so this recording will be available and accessible on the CTLA YouTube channel once it's done. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Tim Schreffler, who is the instructional technology coordinator for our office. And he will be talking about the app called Adobe Spark Video, which is an easy to use app that allows you to make videos using your mobile devices, as well as, I think there's options for desktop. And so in today's webinar, he'll give you an overview of how the tool works, and he will show you some basic tips and techniques on how to use it. So Tim, take it over.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you for coming. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Adobe Spark Video today, and I'm going to talk about it in a few different platforms, like Mike mentioned. The first platform will be the mobile platform on the iPad. But there's also the ability to create this content online on a website. So before we get started again, Mike mentioned if you have questions, please put them in the chat, or feel free to ask them. So let me switch over to my iPad here. So this is Adobe Spark Video, and Adobe Spark Video is one tool in a suite of 3 different tools called Adobe Spark. The first being Adobe Spark Video, another one being Adobe Spark Page, which is a website tool, and the third being Adobe Spark Post, which is a social media content creation tool. And the reason I like Adobe Spark Video and all of the Adobe Spark products is their ease of use. They are products that they've done a lot of thinking for you. They have inserted themes, they've inserted transition and audio, and that stuff is all built into templates, ready for us to use. So we don't have to think about editing. We don't have to think about pulling a soundtrack for our video. This app has done the thinking for us, and it's as simple as pressing a plus button, adding some icons, adding some video, adding some text, following a simple storyline, and then the app will spit a link out and allow us to post a link maybe on our Sakai website, or through email, to where we could share our content with our students. And I found that creating these videos takes me anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I could create a short 1-minute video in about 5 to 10 minutes. At the end, I would be given a link or the ability to download the video. And then from there, I could share it, and I would be done with my content creation, rather than recording a video, uploading it maybe onto my computer, and then editing it in editing software, and then taking the time to host the video online, say on YouTube, and then finally being able to share it after I've gone through those multiple steps. So let me first go over and show you some of my examples that I've created. And these are, most of these are pretty short videos. And here, this is, we're gonna go ahead and watch the video first. This is one I created a while back. So here, let me go ahead and rotate my iPad. Hopefully we'll get some sound here. How to take a selfie. Click the camera icon to open the camera app. Turn the front-facing camera on and take a picture of yourself. Make sure to smile. Open up the photo app to review your selfie. And you can see, so that was a few slides that I had put together, one with a picture of myself, one with an icon, and about five slides, each 4 or 5 seconds long. I was able to create a short 20-second video explaining a simple practice on that many users use on their mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Adobe Spark here. And to get started, you can see there's a little plus button down here, and I'm going to hit the plus button. A little tutorial is going to come up to see if I want to watch the tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. And then it's going to ask me what my story is about. Here, let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. And so I'm going to call this story webinar. And I'm going to click next. And then here's where the real magic happens. You can see it's asking me to pick a story template, or I could start from scratch, but there's a few templates that I could pick from. I could promote an idea. I could tell what happened. There's a hero's journey, a show and tell project, personal growth video. There's the teach a lesson template. Maybe making an invitation, and then the ability to start from scratch. With the ability to start from scratch, a blank template is given, but I'm going to go ahead and start with teach a lesson and see what that gives me. And so as you can see, it opened up the Spark video editor, but the real magic down here is the ability to use a template. So the template, let me zoom in and get a little bit more here. The template gives us the first slide for the template is the overview. The second slide is the concept. The third slide is an example. Fourth is an explanation. The fifth slide is try it out. And then the sixth slide is a summary. So you can see Adobe Spark has done the thinking for us. It's laid out a storyline for us. It's laid out a template. And we can start to think about, okay, what's the overview of our lesson? And maybe we're going to do a lesson on creating Spark videos. So I went to, I hit the plus button, and then I hit the photo button, and it brought up a search bar where I can now search for photos inside of Adobe Spark. And these are kind of stock images that I could search from, but I also could add my own videos from my iPad. So here, look, I'm gonna go ahead and select this one here. And then once I've selected my content on my page, maybe I could also add a title. And then the last button here is push to record. So once I've added a background image, I've added some text, and now I have the ability to record my voice over this slide. Here's how you create an Adobe Spark video. I've now recorded my voice, and I'm going to play it back. Here's how you create an Adobe Spark video. So you can see, even with recording 4 seconds of video, recording 4 seconds of my voice, I've now created a small intro to my video. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide, which is concept. So I'm going to add an icon this time. And let's see. I'm going to search the word idea, see what it gives me. Got some light bulbs, some cognition icons here, so maybe I'll add this one. And I think it also needs a background. Let me maybe see if we can get a, I think I might be. Looks like I overlaid that on my, let's get the idea icon back here. And so now I have the option again to record my voice, to add some sound to this next slide, which is the concept. So I'm going to go ahead and record my next slide. Using Adobe Spark Video, I can record my voice, create slides, and have a template made and have the video magic happen for me. So now I've recorded a 10-second slide. I'm going to move on to my next one, which just says example. So I could follow this template. I could also delete the slides. You could duplicate the slides. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and input a video of myself. And so in order to do that, I'm going to have to exit out of my iPad and create a video in my camera. So I'm going to go back and use my camera here. Give it a try, make your own video. So I've just recorded a short video of myself right there. And let me get back to Adobe Spark. And you can see I've pushed the plus button, I've clicked the video button, and now I'm going to go into my camera roll and bring up the video I created. It's going to ask what I want to add to it. I'm going to go ahead and add the entire video here. And now I've been, you can see I embedded a video with sound. The audio from the template is still overlaying. I have the option to kind of turn up the audio of the video here, as well as I could go back and clip the audio. Maybe I didn't like the first little second of that, so I could take off a little bit of the audio or the video until I start talking. And now let's go back to the beginning of my video and watch what I've created. Here's how you create an Adobe Spark video. Using Adobe Spark Video, I can record my voice, create slides, and have a template made and have the video magic happen for me. Give it a try, make your own video. So you can see with about 5 minutes of content creation, I've created a 23-second video that shows maybe how to do something, whether it's an assignment or a introduction to your course, or it's a case study. You can create a short 30-second video, minute-long video, portray to your audience what the assignment might be about, maybe give them some examples, as well as showing them how to do it, or giving them a way to start thinking about how to make their assignments and giving them a good overview. Or it could be an overview of your Sakai class. It could be an introduction video, welcoming the class to your online class, just to kind of make a personal connection with your class and have a face that they can relate to and watch when they first enter your class. So now I'd like to kind of switch over to the mobile Adobe Spark Video. I like it the best because I can use my iPad. I can create a video. I can create, I can record my voice, and it's all mixed into the app. It's all in one place, and at the end, switch back here for a second. At the end, when I'm done with my video, I can hit the share button in the top right corner here. And now I have the ability to share my video. I have the ability to download it. I could get a link to the video, or I could get the actual file, or I could host it on Adobe's website and have the ability to kind of go back into Adobe Spark Video and grab the URL and share it with anybody when I was ready to do that. So you can see I could hit share. Maybe I'm going to copy the link to clipboard. It says it wants me to pick a category. Or I could save to camera roll. So I'm going to choose to save to camera roll. It's still asking me here. We need to select a category there. And then you can see it's going to render the video and then save the video to my camera roll. Let me go back and do that one more time. Oops. Or I could have the option to copy the link to my clipboard. So again, it's going to render the video and then save a link to my clipboard once I'm done. Okay, so now that we've gone over that, just want to show you where we can download this off the App Store. So if you searched Adobe Spark in the Android or Apple App Store, you could easily find this app. There are a few different versions, like I mentioned before. There's the Adobe Spark Video, Adobe Spark Page, and Adobe Spark Post. I would recommend starting with video to learn the tool and figure out how it works, and to be able to create video content quickly and easily. So now I'm going to kind of switch over to the desktop version of Adobe Spark Video, and I've sent the link to everyone so we can kind of all be on the same page and follow along here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well. So this is my Adobe Spark page. It has all the projects that I've created on my iPad. They're all cloud-based, so I can easily reference them. You can see even my video that I just created right here. Let's see if I have the ability to go back in and edit this video. So Adobe has, all this content is in Adobe's cloud. Something that I created on my iPad can easily come up on my computer or on my desktop, and I could edit it. I could download it or share it from here as well. Maybe if I wanted to add some more content, I could easily come back and edit on the desktop version. Let me show you another example of an Adobe Spark video. Just wait for it to load up here. And this video maybe isn't completely polished or finished, but you can see I had a few images that with some slides and some text, and I could make a simple slideshow, and I wouldn't have to think about the transitions. You can see on the side here, there's some different themes. I'm using the snap theme right now, but I could switch over to maybe the spotlight theme, and everything changes in the background. You know, the background changes, the font changes, the way the images look changes. I'll show you that again. So we have the ability to edit the themes. I have the ability to edit the music. I could maybe change it to something a little bit more relaxed. See if it'll play here. And you have multiple options. You could even add your own music if you'd like to. And then there's also the ability to change the layout of the slides. If you wanted to caption your slides, maybe have 2 images in one, or just use a full screen layout. But again, I talked about the magic of Adobe Spark Video and the need not to edit or do any of the transitions or themes or backgrounds. It's all built in. And I think that's one of the bigger advantages of using Adobe Spark Video. Just switch through some themes here. Maybe we can watch the video again to see how it's changed. You can see how the transitions are different. Okay, so now I want to talk about a few more of Adobe's products, Spark products real quick, and then show some examples of Adobe Spark being used in Sakai by professors right now. So to start this webinar off, I used Adobe Spark Video. You can see the video button here. If I was to press that, it would again, allow me to create a new video. It's going to ask me to create a title and then pick a template. If I chose make up my own, I would be given a blank template once it loads here with a single slide, and I could add more slides after that or duplicate my slides. And it starts with more of a simple theme. But there are some options for creating some other kinds of content than just video. If you chose the Adobe Spark page, you could create a simple website. And if you chose Adobe Spark Post, you could create kind of social media content, maybe a quick graphic for an invitation or for for an event that's happening or something to that effect. So I want to focus the last bit of our time on page, showing you a little bit more of the power of Adobe Spark. So with Adobe Spark Page, we're effectively creating a simple website, and this website is a dynamic website. So let's oops, find an image for my background here. And then on the bottom here, it says scroll to start writing your story. So as I scroll, I now have the ability to add some more content. I could add some video content. I could embed a YouTube video here. I could add some text or photos, or I could even add some buttons that would maybe take us to a different website, take us to a photo gallery or to a Google Drive document. There's a few other tools that we could play around with, but I'm going to grab my So I have created a simple website, a very simple website to go to Adobe Spark Video and share it with maybe my class or some users. But here, let me give you some better examples here. Oops. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just grabbing this link so we can see the website instead of the editing page. So this is an Adobe Spark page that I've created to show how to find educational mobile apps on the iOS App Store. So you can see I added a background. I added some images and text, as well as some buttons to other websites or videos. With some, and you can see the dynamic scrolling effects that Adobe Spark, again, I didn't have to add these effects. I didn't have to edit any HTML or do any coding, anything to that effect. Adobe Spark has created these effects and transitions for me. So as you can see, as I scroll through dynamically scroll through the page, my content comes up in different ways, maybe featuring a few different mobile apps here, the Google apps, the Adobe Suite. And it's just a great way to display your content. It looks polished, it's clean, and it didn't take me too long to create. Maybe this took me about 20 minutes of sourcing the images from Google or from the websites, and then laying out my content and what I wanted to say, and then building the website. Okay. So it looks like a few questions have been answered in the chat. Is there any other questions about Adobe Spark page or Adobe Spark video? Oh, looks like we have another participant.
So Tim, so at this point, I'll let people put their questions in the chat and I'll try to facilitate those. But okay. I have a few questions for you just to help the audience understand. So you started with the Spark video, and then you talked a little bit about the Spark page. And then, so if you can sort of describe a little bit between the two, like, I guess, how would you use those in tandem, or can those be used individually, or what's the best practice around that?
Yeah, so I think it would be, I think they could be used in tandem. You could embed your Adobe Spark video onto an Adobe Spark page. But I also think they're great tools to be used individually. Of course, I kind of, as far as use cases go, I would probably use Adobe Spark Video to introduce my content, to lay out an assignment, to kind of set a stage for what I want the students to do, or how I want the assignment to be taken, or taken. Or maybe it's just, and maybe it's a simple introduction to your course, to your face-to-face course you send out before it starts, allowing the students to get to know you, to see your face and to hear your voice, and kind of get that personal connection with you through video. Again, I see the power of Adobe Spark Video to be creating short videos in small amounts of time without the need to edit or to switch between devices. And I can stick to my iPad, or I could stick to my computer and create a video in one location and export a video all from the same tool, rather than jumping around and using different softwares, maybe having to buy a software to edit video, or to not have access to paid software that would do that. And oftentimes we don't need to have access to things like, iMovie or Final Cut to be able to edit video, because those products are expensive and they have a lot of features that are unneeded that professionals use. Okay. And as a faculty member, I could easily create a product and share it with all in the same instance. But I also see these tools to be used to create a polished product. It's not just recording myself with my iPad for 5 minutes and having my talking head introduce my course. It's showing a little bit of a polished product with audio in the background, with transitions, and transitions that have been thought about. They're all the same transitions.
Okay. All right. So one follow-up question, and I'll get to Jill's question about where to upload and use that. So you showed us, you started with the app, the Adobe Spark video app on the iPad. Is this available on the Android for those who don't have device, or the Apple device?
Yes, I think Adobe Spark products are available on both Android and iOS.
And then also you showed us the website. So it's just for the audience, it's good to remind you that you don't have to have a mobile device to use these products. You can actually just use it on your laptop or on your computer. But if you do have a mobile device like either an Apple tablet or an Android tablet, you can use it there. So Jill has a question about, she said, would we upload these Spark videos to YouTube and then embed it in the link in Sakai, or what would be the best way to use it in class, I guess?
So I think the best way to use it in class is actually just using Adobe Spark to host the content rather than using something like YouTube. You could choose to use YouTube to host your content. It might give you a little bit more of, it'll give you a view count as well as some analytics on the back end, but that's a little bit more of an involved process. Again, I think Adobe Spark what Adobe Spark brings to the table is the ability to do everything in one tool. So let me switch back and show quickly how I could export my video.
So just to quickly summarize, so once you create your video in Adobe Spark, you can download that, and then it's, I guess, up to you if you want to upload to YouTube, or you just want to leave it on the Adobe server and just grab the URL and then you can link it in Sakai.
Yeah, so in Adobe Spark, I have the option to create a public link that I could share with anybody. And once they have that link, they have the ability to view it on a web browser, or like I said, I could download the video and put it on YouTube. But I think it's easy to just host the video on Adobe Spark, create a public link, and share it from here.
Okay. All right. So I have a follow-up, so a separate question from Joseph about Adobe Spark page. Does that offer, I guess the question is, how would you share that site, that Spark page site, with students in a class?
So great. That brings me to my next example. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with a Sakai website where we are currently hosting. Sorry, let me see if I can get this here. So this is a nursing course that has recently been developed, and one of our instructional designers has created an Adobe Spark page to welcome the students to this course. And right now that she used an image that has a link behind it, but you could simply publish the Adobe Spark page, and then it will give you a URL that is public that you could share with your students, and you could simply just either email the link to your students, or you could post it on your Sakai website. So here I've clicked the video, or the image that she's put on Sakai, and now I have the ability to scroll through this content. It opened it up in a new tab, and I can view this content. Unfortunately, Adobe Spark pages, I don't think they can be embedded, so you do have to kind of navigate away from Sakai in a different tab, but it gives you a full screen experience with these dynamic scrolling, and it really is as simple as copying and pasting a URL.
Okay, that's good to know. Kathleen has a question about storage. Is the storage free? And if also, is there a limit to the storage? Yeah.
I don't think there is a limit to the storage. I think if you have an Adobe account, you have unlimited space, but I also think you can log in with your APU Google account. They have the option to sign in with your Google account, and I think that also has the option of unlimited storage.
And okay, yeah. So those are the questions I see on the chat. Are there any other questions from the audience at this point? Yes, that's a good comment, Kathleen. This is a great tool for kids. My kids have used Adobe Spark Video to make their own little presentations for their school. So this is definitely kid friendly. So if kids can do it, anybody can do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if I'll just age 13 and older. My kids are actually under that, but they're 7, 9, and 11 this year. Are there any other questions that you have for Tim? Yes, that the agreement is true. Yeah, it was a supervised Adobe Spark video session. Okay, so if I don't see any more questions, I will maybe bring this to a conclusion. So I want to thank everyone again for participating today, and in particular, I want to thank Tim for his expertise for showing us how Adobe Spark Video works, as well as introducing us to some of the other suites, the tools in the suites. Again, this webinar has been recorded. We will make this available on the CTLA YouTube page, and we appreciate you joining us. We will have one more webinar later on the semester, and so we hope you can join us for that as well. If you have any questions after we end here and you want to contact us for follow-up, for tutorial, for consultation, whatever the case may be, please just email us at ittsupport@apu, and then we will make sure it gets to Tim or myself, and we will respond accordingly. So thank you again, everyone.